Good morning. Welcome to what promises to be a superb day of distance running here in the Indian capital. After missing out on this wonderful event last year because of COVID, we are delighted to be back with a bang. We've got a new title sponsor, a firm, fast, flat, familiar course, and two brilliant elite fields ready to go for glory. So welcome to the 17th edition of the Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon. No first runners out onto the course were competing in the Open 10K. They started at 5:20 and just behind our camera position, they are making their way towards the finish line, saluting the crowd who've been here for an hour and a half already. And this is how the whole morning lines up. We had the 10K at 5:20. We've got the elites going at 6:40 with the masses for the half marathon just a minute or so behind them. Just before 7:30, our next set of athletes will be out onto the course, the champions with disability. Just before 8 o'clock, we have the senior citizens. Tim Hutchings might be coming out of retirement for that one. And then the Great Delhi Run just after 9 o'clock. Marks ever recorded in this event that goes back, to 2005. Amazing.
And with that, may I please begin with presenting the international elite women to all of you. I'll start with in bib 101. We've got with us Lemlem Hailu from Ethiopia. The 3,000-meter Tokyo Olympian is gunning for a stunning half-marathon debut here in Delhi. Let's call upon Lemlem Hailu from Ethiopia. Welcome. Also, with that, in bib 102, we've got with us Irene Cheptai from Kenya. The current TCS World 10K champion will be out for glory today. Let's call upon Irene Cheptai. Welcome. All right, and in bib 103, we've got with us Gete Almayeu from Ethiopia. She makes her India running debut in Delhi today. Welcome. All right, and now let's move on to the Indian elite women. In bib 151, we've got with us Sanjeevni Jadhav. The runner-up from 2020 will be looking to make her mark here as well. Welcome. All right, in bib 160, we've got with us Preeti Lamba, the gold medalist at the USIC Cross Country World Championships, is out for a first crown. Welcome again. Now, as we hear for our champions today, it's also time to shift gears to our international elite men. Let's start in bib number 1. We've got with us Mukhtar Edris from Ethiopia. Let's give the man a huge round of applause. As with a personal best of 58 minutes and 40 seconds, the former world champion will be looking to finish at the top of the podium today. At number 2, we've got with us Felix Kipkowitz from Kenya. He makes his Delhi debut and is definitely one to watch out for. Welcome. All right, and in bib number 3, we've got with us Chala Rigasa, also from Ethiopia, coming in with a fast finish at the Copenhagen Half Marathon. He's also making his Delhi debut this year. Hello. All right, and now to the Indian elite men, ladies and gentlemen. In bib 51, Avinash Sable, the national half marathon record holder and the defending champion, will be out to create history yet again today. All right, moving on. In bib 52, we've got with us Srinu Bugatha. His the former Delhi Half Marathon champion will be looking to turn tables. I'm hands with the Delhi Half Marathon and pledges that no child will sleep hunger ever again. So it's hashtag run for zero hunger. So what are we waiting for? It is also time to rung de Delhi. And with that, may I please introduce you all to our elite athletes.
Welcome back. We are here in Delhi for the start of the Vedanta Half Marathon, and what a lineup for these two elite fields. World class for the men's and women's races, and how we missed not having an event last year. We're absolutely delighted to be back in business here. Keep us company for the next few hours. Great drama is literally just seconds away from unfolding. Here we go then. The countdown is on. The Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon bursts into life, and we really are delighted to be back. Good to see so many spectators out on the streets of the capital. It is just before 7 o'clock in the morning. And Tim, the course records are superb, with 58.53 from Walligan from 2 years ago, and Yalemzerf Yehuala was 64.46. So tough standards, but it's good enough and they could do it.
They certainly could do it, yes. That's the general race getting underway just 1 minute after the elite. But it's important that the pacemakers for those elite athletes do a good job. There's the masses, tens of thousands underway. And of course, every kilometre covered will feed an underprivileged child with a good meal. That is a Vedanta initiative. And it's one of the most wonderful, most simple initiatives I've heard in many, many years, Rob.
Pacemaker just checking his watch. Mukhtar Idris tucking in behind. Idris is a double world champion over 5,000 metres, won in London and successfully defended his crown in Doha. Yes, it's the Run for Zero Hunger. Basically, Vedanta, the title sponsors, have around about 14,000 staff, and between them they've racked up 850,000 kilometres, and Vedanta will produce an equivalent number of meals for children from underprivileged backgrounds. Confirmation of the prize money, $27,000 for the winner, down to 6,000 for sixth. It'll be the same for the men and the women, a combined prize pool of $178,000. This is a rich race, and the rewards are there for the top Indian male and female finishers. 3.5 lakh, 2.75, 1.75. The overwhelming favourite in the men's race is Avinash Sable, who produced that incredible Commonwealth silver in the steeplechase with a new national record for India.
Well, they've been running
back in the summer.
They've been running for just a couple of minutes now. There are some of the leading lights, Rob. Mukhtar Idris is twice a world champion at 5,000. He's moved onto the roads this last 2 or 3 years with in fantastic form. Chala Regassa there, second to right. Watch him as well. He's a superbly fast athlete, Regassa, 59.10. He ran back in April this year. He's in excellent form. And Dida, Akalnu, Belet, and Moses Koech, as you can see there. Moses Koech for me is a very, very good chance for the victory. He's certainly on the rostrum. He's in good recent form. But anything under 60 minutes is fabulously fast.
Well, we were talking about the mouth-watering men's race. The women's race, arguably, possibly, even better in terms of the strength and depth, Tim.
Yes, it is. The women's race is quite supreme. I counted some 6 women who have broken 70 minutes. Lemlem Hailu making her debut here today. She is one of the extreme favourites. Irene Cheptai, very experienced, 30 years old, and the Bangalore 10K champion from last May. And Alamea, who, well, watch her. She is superbly consistent with best of 66 minutes. Aminat Ahmed, 68 minutes. That is fast. Reddit and Chepkowicz, both very strong. And Meseret Gebre is one athlete that we think has got a chance to make a huge improvement of that time of 1 hour 12 minutes there to the right.
Sanjivani Jadhav, one of the favourites to be top Indian female. Her PB, 73 minutes on the nose. She's an Asian Championship bronze medalist back in 2017 and twice has finished second best Indian woman in this event in 2016 and 2020. So we shall see whether she can occupy top spot. We're still yet to see the first Indian female inside 70 minutes. Maybe today will be the day. Tucked in behind the pacemaker. He's had a couple of injury problems, Tim. He was sort of talking quite modestly. That's not at his PB for the 5,000, and he was disappointed at finishing so far down the order in Eugene. But he wouldn't be here if he didn't feel he was on good form, and the 28-year-old will definitely feel this is an important race as he takes another stepping stone towards his first marathon, which might come next year. And I think he looks good.
Yes, he does, and it's obviously quick because they're running in single file, Rob, and you get them running on a line like that, you know it's fast. And this is why it's fast, because this course, it's got a few twists and turns, but it's very, very quick. It's the dead flat, which enables them to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, they turn left just by the Oberoi Hotel just after 5 kilometres, and they begin making their way down towards the iconic India Gate, going round the outside at the first time of asking.
This is the new strip, Rob, here on KG Marg. Then they get to Connaught Place, around Kastura Gavdi there, back up KG Marg, back up towards India Gate, where they do this little sort of keyhole turn back into the centre of India Gate, then a right-hand turn back through 18 kilometres about here. There's a slight bump there, slight uphill, and then back on the long run in towards the stadium, this left turn for the sprint.
There's still a sparkle in the eyes of the former London Marathon winner and Olympian Hugh Jones. Great to have him on board. And this is the view of the elite men's field following the pacemakers. Tim, have we got a little update on the splits? Are they still on course for 59-ish?
Well, just outside 59, probably 59 and a half. At that 3K, the men were 8:34. Now, to be on 59 minutes exactly at 3 kilometres, they should have been 8:24. So they were 10 seconds out there. If you multiply that, it means they're on schedule for actually, at the moment, about 60 minutes, almost exactly on the hour. But I think
sponsors, our new title sponsors, Vedanta, it's not just about run for zero hunger. The whole principle of this is, they say, that India's rise will be fueled by our strong and healthy country men and women. And this is a whole festival of distance running. And the figurehead of that festival will be the elite male and female winners. But we are a long way from being able to determine who they will be. Felix looks...
He's just easing along. I'm impressed too by Takele. He looks pretty good too. The tallest figure there in white to the centre.
Well, this race has produced a one to the required predicted time quite well up to their allotted kilometre where they're supposed to drop out. But yeah, this pacemaker's kind of struggled a little bit, and that is why we saw Idris heading to the front. Hassan has done his spell at the front, and I also think Gemechu Dida looks really, really good indeed. So that's the big group of elite men who have now decided to take the pacemaking duties up themselves. Back with the elite women, and this looks a little bit more single file. Stella Chazang leading, Tim.
No, that's right. And Chazang, of course, is the debutante here. She was Commonwealth champion over 10,000 metres back in 2018 on the Gold Coast in Australia. She was fourth in the most recent Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh, in Birmingham in the UK, just a few months back, and set a national record in Eugene at the World Championships, the Ugandan. So Chezang looking like she's enjoying this, and it is quicker, relatively speaking, it's quicker than the men's. They went through 5K in about 15:38, which is not far outside course record tempo. This is very quick, the women's race, and that's why they're in single file. There's only run once or twice a year over this sort of distance. So when they do come out and take a shot at a half marathon, as opposed to a 10K, more or less half this distance, or some other race, they want it to be a big, big success. You know, they've been training for months for this, focusing upon it, getting up, living that monastic lifestyle up in Addis Ababa or in the Rift Valley heights of Kenya. They want to get it right. So they don't actually want to run a tactical race. These fellas want to run fast and get the reward for all that training. Speed as well.
Well, we have been looked after wonderfully well here in Delhi. We always are. The hospitality in India is second to none. I can't look out the window when we go up in the lift at the hotel. It's not a place if you've got a bad head for heights. But anyway, they do a wonderful job of looking after us and all the elite athletes. Meanwhile, Stella Chazang, following the pacemaker, they asked for sub 66. And Tim, that is what they have got. This is great pacing.
It is great pacing, yes. The pacemaker there, Lassen Bouchiki of Belgium, is a 29-year-old, and he's doing a wonderful job checking around him, just keeping them on tempo. Chesang still at the front there, Stella Chesang. She's her husband is Ronald Quemoy, who is a world-class 1,500-metre runner, so they're very much an athletics family.
And Kamau there, Tim, just loping his way up towards the front. Fourth in Lille earlier this year. This is... Well, there's no lack of intent there.
No, Kamau, actually, I think wanting to break this pack up. Has a little look at his watch there. They've been running now for, some 22 and a half minutes, as you can see. And Kamau, I think, has decided, no, this is getting a little too slow. We're getting towards the middle race section. There's still a pack of, about 12 or 13 men. That's too big a pack, really. If they were running really hard and pushing the red line, so to speak, then we'd be down to 4 or 5 athletes now. So I think Kamau is trying to make this a more honest race. and that's good to see. He has doubled with a marathon. He ran 2:11 back in 2019, and then actually last year ran 2:15 in Eldoret up at high altitude in Kenya, Michael Kamau. So he's strong. And I think he probably thinks, no, I'm going to make this a test of strength. I don't want it to be a tactical race where we all sprint like heck for the last kilometre or so. So this is good to see. He's trying to make it honest.
Contribute to this race.
Well, he has. Regatta is one of the favourites. There's no doubt about that. He said his target for this race is under 59 minutes. They are now still, by the way, in this what is turning to a tactical men's race so far, heading for about 60 minutes, so about the hour. But Regatta, who does a lot of his training with Kenenisa Bekele, who is arguably the greatest distance runner ever, said he's looking for under 59 minutes. And he's a lovely fellow. He's very relaxed and chatty. A lot of the Ethiopian athletes tend to be quite shy. It's a cultural thing. They're fairly quiet and underspoken. But Regatta has this Western influence to his character. He's quite ebullient, very giving. I think they will pull that back. I suspect there'll be some aggressive racing from halfway on. Conditions looking really good. It's a slightly misty morning. You can see what a good road surface it is here in Delhi. It's a wonderful racing surface. And where there are curves, there's big sweeping curves like this, dead flat. And they couldn't ask for a better record, 58.53. I think that probably is going to survive today, the way things are unfolding.
No, this is Avinash Sable just about trying to hang on to the back of the elite group. So he ran 60:30 here 2 years ago for a wonderful performance, smashing the Indian national record. Not quite sure he's on that sort of territory at the moment, but actually he is quite a long way behind. I thought he was tighter to the lead group than that.
Well, he's probably about 15 seconds behind Rob, but very tough for Sable now. He's a fabulous athlete. Don't let's forget he got that superb silver in the steeplechase at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. But he is running on his own now, and that's so much more difficult than being in a pack. When you're surrounded by bodies, you get sort of dragged along almost subconsciously. It's easier to be in a pack than to be on your own, making your own tempo. Luxury of a pacemaker for most of their race, Rob. That's the advantage the women have, of course. A good quality male athlete can be a pacemaker for the women the whole way. Back in July, over 5,000 metres, and for me that means a great deal, because I think if you can get your training right for 5,000, you're good for running 1,500, then shorter distances on the track, and anything up to about half marathon. So she's a real dark horse, and her personal best is 67.52. She's worth a lot quicker than that. Those women are moving really well.
Now Joshua Bellet heading to the front here, 28.4.
Taking on this sort of front roll, this pacemaking role almost in the middle of the race, is showing he wants to keep this tempo honest. He wants to keep the speed high. He doesn't want it to slow down and become a race that will be won by the track specialists, maybe like Edris with a sprint finish.
Yes, that's a...
Well, those women have just gone through 10k. Looks like it was probably around 31:45, something like that. We'll get the official split any minute, but it is pretty quick for these women. The pacemaker Buchiki still doing a good job. That little pack is gradually whittling down. I can tell you that Alamea, who with a knee injury, pulled out at around 5k from this race. Ready, Daniel as well has also dropped back fairly early on. And that is what you expect. When a tempo is really quick, you will get casualties in the first half. I say casualties, athletes easing back off the tempo and just not able to live with it. To his style. It's only his second race this year, can you believe? Back in March, he was fourth in the Rome Ostia half marathon. It's a very big half marathon down in Italy, where they run from the capital Rome out. Race Buchiki is trying to coax the women who's going a little bit quicker, but they don't seem too keen. In this men's race, Rob, what a contrast, because you've got this big pack, 3 or 4 across the road. You've got that yellow vest of Michael Kamau still back at the front again. So the leader is changing again and again. Edris we haven't seen for quite some time. He did his share at the front in the early stages. So it seems every few hundred metres the leader in this men's race is changing. While they kicked in hard and ran a very fast 11th kilometre, I do think maybe they're slowing again. It's become a bit of a cat and mouse game. So I think he wouldn't be here racing towards the front of this field, Rob, giving a good account of himself if there was any problem. And if his fitness is okay, then yes, Edris will certainly be thinking about his speed. I mean, he's the ultimate racer on the track. He shocked us all when he retained his World 5,000 metres title back in 2019 with a fabulous sprint over the last 200 metres. So Edris, they're right in the centre in the white vest. He's actually just to the left of the group a little bit now in the white vest and the black armbands. do watch him if it comes down to a burn-up in the last kilometre.
You know, there are so many of them, maybe this is going to play into the sprinters' hands, although someone surely is going to go for the gradual wind-up rather than letting it come down to a 200-metre lung-bursting lunge for the line.
Well, they're now back on KG Marg. They're heading southwards again towards India Gate. 13 kilometres not far away from them now. This is a long straight section. It's actually about the longest straight section of the race, certainly in the middle section of the race. And then a couple of twists and turns around India Gate. There is India Gate itself. Fabulous structure. It's actually been compared in years gone by with the Arc de Triomphe or the Gateway of India in Mumbai. It's designed by Sir Edward Lutyens, a war memorial for the 84,000 of British Indian Army who died in World War I and in other campaigns up to 1921, Rob. And you and I have both been there. It is quite astonishing. It's a huge structure.
Amazing. And to think that there are more than 13,000 individual names etched onto the gate. It's a hugely impressive landmark, and yet another reason why coming to this wonderful city is well worth a weekend or a day of your time.
So that was Sablé and Karthik. Actually, the top Indians were 41.27 at 14k. Rob, that is Karthik Kumar, the Indian number 2. He's having a fabulous run.
Yeah, he is. We talked about him at the start, didn't we? Saying that he might try and do something rather special on his debut after getting third in the national games a couple of weeks ago and being in the top 15 of the world juniors over 10,000 metres. So he's going to give Sablé a little bit of a run for his money for that top Indian spot. But now Felix Kipkowitz, what are we there? 43.22.
We're getting to the business end of that men's race.
And just about to get underway back here at the stadium. The champions with disabilities.
Astonishing achievement.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 10, 9.
Here we go with the countdown then for the champions with disabilities. They are just about to commence. Are underway, the champions with disabilities. A couple of minutes late, but no drama. Pushing their way round.
Yeah, good to see it include.
Side to get a glimpse of the finishing straight, and they've given me a monitor, so really interesting to see what Dida produces here. But this is panning out so differently, Tim, to how we initially thought this race would unfold. In some ways, it's been more interesting than it would have been if they had just followed the pacemaker and one by one they'd been whittled away. There's real drama in this last 5 or 6 minutes here.
Well, Regassa in the blue will not give in. And here goes Regassa. Hits the front for the first time.
What a story this would be, Tim, if he was able to do it. Felix Kipkowitz has been pushing this and pushing this, but has he been overtaken by the eventual winner? Little look over his shoulder there by Regassa. From my position, we can just about see him in the distance. The lead car is pulling up, and Charles Regassa is about to find out just what it means potentially to become the Delhi Half Marathon champion. I can hardly hear myself just on this finish gantry. So much noise here as we wait for Regassa to make his way towards the finish. Felix Kipkowitz has run a wonderful race. So too has Boki Dariba. The teenager is in third, and Regassa begins to allow himself to celebrate here. He's got huge charisma and he's got huge talent. He's done it. Charles Regassa, the 25-year-old, has taken the Delhi title. It's outside 60 minutes, but that doesn't matter. It was a truly fascinating race. Kipkowitz really went for it. It's another podium finish for him, but it's second place this time. And what a run by the 18-year-old Ethiopian, Boki Dariba, to complete the podium. That was superb, Tim. Wonderful run by Regassa to take that title.
Well, we can go back to these elite women now. And it is Irene Cheptai, one of the pre-race favourites, the winner in Bangalore back in May, who is following the pacemaker, and the 30-year-old using all that experience. Well, she finished 4th in Delhi in 2019. She finished 4th in Delhi in 2020. But it looks like Cheptai might get her reward for her perseverance. Her hero, she said to us yesterday, is Tekla Larupe of Kenya, from West Pokot, the area of Kenya that she is from. Larupe was a former world record holder, world record breaker at the full marathon distance. She's coached by her husband, Barnaba Chirchir, who learned a lot from Patrick Sang, his good friend. And if that name sounds familiar, that's because Patrick Sang coaches Eliud Kipchoge. So the knowledge in that group, she's based up in E10, is absolutely supreme. Well, the Indian men coming in now. Karthik and Avinash having their own little dust-up. Avinash Sable, the Indian record holder with 60:30, has got a race on his hand. And Karthik Kumar might be causing a bit of an upset here. He wears 53. Karthik Kumar to the left. Avinash Sable, the steeplechase medalist from the Commonwealth Games, in the blue to the right of picture. Looks to me like he's had to throw in the towel, because Karthik Kumar is driving towards the line, looks really determined. There's not much in it between these two. They come towards the line, and watch the clock. 63 on the clock. They're going to be under 64 minutes. It's very quick running from this pair. It looks almost like they've agreed to come across the line together. But it was, I think, Avinash Sable, the track star, who takes it there from Karthik Kumar. They both celebrate brilliant racing, and that is the best pairing finish, double finish we've seen in the history of this Vedanta Delhi half marathon. There's no doubt about it. Both of them under 64 minutes. Absolutely brilliant.
Go to the World Cross Country title back in 2017. Remember, as Tim said, her PB 66:43. She's beaten some huge names here, including the reigning world indoor champion over 3,000 meters. And after so often finishing 4th, as she did here in 2019, it's all gold for Irene Cheptai. She is the elite women's champion in Delhi. And I think the icing on the cake, she either equaled her PB, Tim, or possibly broke it by 1 or 2 seconds. What a great race by the Kenyan. That was class.
I think she set a personal best by 1 second, Rob. Can you believe it? 1 second after more than 1 hour of running. She sets her personal best. That's unofficial, by the way, folks. Let's wait and see what time she's given. But a brilliant run from her. So consistent, as you said. Her target was under 66 minutes today. She didn't hit that. But her form here over the last 400 meters was very strong indeed. She's great on the roads. She's great on the track. And now we know she's great here in Delhi today. She is the champion.
And a fantastic atmosphere here in the stadium as well.
Delhi, as Sanjivani Yadav continues to push on in glorious isolation towards the win amongst the Indian athletes. She is hurting, grimacing here. There's no doubt about that.
Over her shoulder to make absolutely certain no one's going to come and deny.
National prize money list and the Indian prize money list. And this will be the biggest payday of her career, I'm sure.
Yeah, without question. And a richly deserved moment. Sanjivani Yadav, who has twice finished runner-up in the battle to be top Indian, comes out #1, and she has given that absolutely everything. That is what it takes to become the champion. And she's done it. It's a wonderful run. It's not as quick as her PB, but it doesn't matter. She gave that everything she had. Conditions are tough out there. It's a fast course and it's a flat course, but it can punish you. And she is going to need some medical treatment. But the knowledge that she's taken the Indian title will certainly ease her recovery tomorrow.
This is a winning moment for Sanjivani Yadav, giving her all. I got her time unofficially at 77:53. She has run several minutes quicker, but that matters not a jot. This is a different day, and this is a day on which she's defeated the best of India, almost staggering across the line. That is commitment.
Single second off her lifetime best. Dawit Siam was a late addition to the lineup, the World Championship bronze medalist from Eugene over the 5,000 metres, showing some class with 68.02. And Stella Chesang broke the Ugandan national record with her 68.11 for the bronze. Excellent performance from the former Commonwealth champion over 10,000 metres. Lemlem Hailu, who many people had down as the favourite, fifth on her half marathon debut at 68.50. And Desi completed the top 8, coming home inside 70 minutes. Well, what a day we had. What a day indeed. We had 8 women finishing in under 70 and we had 6 men coming home inside 61 minutes. Charla Ragasa taking the title with 60 minutes and 30 seconds from Felix Kipkowitz, and Boki Duriba, only 18 years of age. We will see and hear much more from him in the future. But Ragasa had enough time and enough of a lead to celebrate and wave his arms around as he headed towards the finish. Great end to the Indian men's race. It looked like it was arm in arm between Sable and Karthik Kumar, but Karthik Kumar marking a wonderful debut by taking the victory, and a very handsome check to go along with it. They were, and a very handsome Seiko watch for the 6 medalists. And Tim, it wasn't as quick as we were expecting. We were talking about perhaps a sub 59.
If you talk about records and tremendously fast times again and again in races, and I'd just love to see great racing going on. That's what we've got. We've got a great chemistry in that men's race. It was a tactical affair and a very close finish, of course. In the women's race, a very fast winning time, a runaway winner in the figure of Irene Cheptai, 66.42 her winning time from Dawit Siam, 68.02. But it was a personal best for Cheptai. In third place, Stella Chesang, 68.11, setting a Ugandan record. So really great women's race as well today.
And the great thing about second best place Indian in 2016 and 2020, and this time it was her turn to shine. Well, they were out on the streets from 5:20 this morning, and it was Prashant P who took the initial title, the Open 10K, an excellent time coming home inside 32.5 minutes. In fact, we had the first 7 inside 35 minutes. Good running from all of the top 8.